Hello everyone. Today I am here again with a new chapter of Class 12 History and Imperial Capital Vijayanagara Part 1. Vijayanagara or City of Victory was the name of both a city and an empire. The empire was founded in the 14th century. In its heyday, it stretched from the river Krishna in the north to the extreme south of the peninsula. In 1565, the city was sacked and subsequently deserted, although it fell into ruin in the 17th and 18th century. It lived on the memories of people living in the Krishna Tupandra Doab. They remembered it as Hampi, a name derived from that of the local mother goddess Pampadevi. Now, how was the city Hampi or Vijayanagara discovered? Colonel Colin Mackenzie, an employee of the English East India Company, prepared the first survey map of the site of Hampi. Much of the initial information he received was based on the memories of the priest of the Virupaksha temple and the shrine of Pampa Devi. Subsequently, from 1856, photographers began to record the monuments which enabled scholars to study them. As early as 1836, epigraphists began collecting several dozen inscriptions found at this site and other temples at Hampi in an effort to reconstruct the history of the city and the empire. Historians collated information from these sources with accounts of foreigners, travelers, and other literature written in Telugu, Kannada, Tamil, and Sanskrit. Rai, the rulers of Vijayanagara Empire. According to the tradition and epigraphic evidences, two brothers, Harihar and Buka, founded the Vijayanagara Empire in 1336. This empire included territories from Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, and Kerala. The first dynasty, known as the Sangama dynasty, exercised control till 1485. They were supplanted by the Salwas military commanders who remained in power till 1503. They were replaced by the Tuluwas and Aravindu dynasty rulers. Now, the contribution of Krishna Dev Raya to the Vijayanagar Empire. Krishna Dev Raya belonged to the Tuluva dynasty. Krishna Dev Raya's rule was characterized by expansion and consolidation. This was the time when the land between the Tupandra and Krishna River was acquired. He subdued the rulers of Orissa and severe defeat were inflicted on the Sultan of Bijapur. Krishnadev Rai is credited with building some fine temples and adding impressive gopurams to many important South Indian temples. He also founded a suburban township near Vijayanagara called Nagalpuram after his mother. Some of the most detailed descriptions of Vijayanagara come from his time or just after. You can see the Vijayanagara Empire in this slide. Now, the kings and the traders. On their northern frontiers, the Vijayanagara king competed with the contemporary rulers, including the sultans of the Deccan and the Gajapati rulers of Orissa. Some of the areas that were incorporated within the empire had witnessed the development of powerful states such as those of the Cholas in Tamil Nadu and the Hosalas in Karnataka. As warfare during this time depended upon effective cavalry, the import of horse from Arabia and Central Asia was very important. Local communities of merchants known as Kudirai Chetti or horse merchants provided horses to Vijayanagara rulers. In fact, Vijayanagara was also noted for its market dealing in spices, textile, and precious stones. Trade were often regarded as a status symbol for such cities, which boasted of a wealthy population that demanded high value exotic goods, especially precious stones and jewelry. Now, the apogee and decline of empire. The first dynasty, known as the Sangama dynasty, exercised control till 1485. They were supplanted by the Saluvas, who were replaced by the Tuluvas in 1503. Krishna Dev Raya is credited with building some fine temples and adding impressive gopurams to many important South Indian temples. Strain began to show within the imperial structure following Krishna Dev Raya's death in 1529. His successors were troubled by rebellions, Nayakas, or military chiefs. During this period, as indeed earlier, the military ambitions of the Deccan sultanates resulted in shifting alignments. Eventually, this led to an alliance of the sultanates against Vijayanagara. Although the army of the sultans were responsible for the destruction of the city of Vijayanagara, relations between the sultans and the Rayas were not always or inevitably hostile. In fact, the Vijayanagara kings were keen to ensure the stability of the Sultanate and vice versa. During this period, and indeed earlier, the military ambitions of the rulers of Vijayanagara Empire, as well as those of the Deccan Sultanate, resulted in shifting alignment, as we have already discussed. Uh, so it was the adventurous policy of Ram Rai, who tried to play off on sultans against another that led the sultans to combine together and wage war on Ram Rai, sorry. In 1565, Ram Rai, the chief minister of Vijayanagara, led the army into battle at Rakshasi Tangadi, also known as Talikota, where his forces were routed by the combined army of Bijapur, Ahmednagar, and Golconda. The victorious army sacked the city of Vijayanagara. The city was totally abandoned within a few years. Now, the Amarnayakas system. The Amarnayakas system was a major political innovation of the Vijayanagara Empire. It is likely that many features of the systems were derived from the Ikta system of the Delhi Sultanate. Among those who exercised power in the Vijayanagar Empire were military chiefs who usually controlled forts and had armed supporters. Sorry. These chiefs often moved from one area to another and in many cases were accompanied by peasants looking for fertile land on which to settle. The Amar Nayakas were military commanders who were given territories to govern by the Rais. They collected taxes and other dues from the peasants, craftspersons, and traders in the area. They retained part of the revenue for personal use and for maintaining a stipulated contingent of horse and elephants. This contingent provided the Vijayanagar king with an effective fighting force with which they brought the entire southern peninsula under their control. Some of the revenues were also used for maintenance of temples and irrigation works. The Amar Nayakas sent tributes to the kings annually and personally appeared in the royal court with gifts to express their loyalty. King, Kings occasionally asserted their control over them by transferring them from one place to another. However, during the course of the 17th century, many of these Nayakas established independent kingdoms. This has tended the collapse of the central imperial structure. Now, Vijayanagara, the capital and its physical environment. First of all, we'll discuss about the water resources. The most striking features about the location of Vijayanagara is the natural basin formed by the river Tupandra, which flows in the northeasterly direction. A number of streams flow down to the river from these rocky outcrops. In almost all cases, embankments were built along these streams to create reservoirs of varying sizes. Elaborate arrangements had to be made to store rainwater and conduct it to the city. The most important such tanks were Kamlapuram tank. Water from this tank not only irrigated fields nearby but also conducted through the channel to the royal center. One of the most prominent waterwork to be seen among the ruins in the Hiria, Hiria Canal. You can see the water bath at Kamlapuram. Now the fortification. The two Here is a description about the forts observed by the Abdur Razak and Pays. Abdur Razak, an ambassador sent by the ruler of Persia, was greatly impressed by the fortification and mentioned seven lines of fort. These encircled not only the city but also its agricultural hinterland and forest. The outermost wall linked the hills surrounding the city. The massive masonry constructions were slightly tapered. No mortar or cementing agents were employed anywhere in the construction. The stone blocks were wedge shaped, which held them in place, and the inner portion of the wall was of earth packed with rubble. What was the most significant about this fortification that it enclosed agricultural tracts. Abdur Razak noted that between the first, second, and the third walls there were cultivated fields, gardens, and houses. Abdur Razak noted that uh, now Pace observed that from this first fort until you enter the city, there is a great distance with fields, many gardens, and two lakes. These statements have been corroborated by present day archaeologists who have also founded evidences of an agricultural tract between the sacred center and the urban core. So now there is a question: why do these agriculture tracts were incorporated within the fortified area? What were the reason? So the objective of medieval sie- sieges was to starve the defenders into submission. These sieges could last for several months and sometimes even years. Normally, rulers tried to be prepared for such situations by building large granaries with, within fortified areas. The rulers of Vijayanagara adopted more expensive and elaborate strategies of protecting the agricultural belts itself. A second line of the fortification went around the inner core of the urban complex, and a third line surrounded the royal center, within which each set of major buildings was surrounded by its own high walls. Now, the roads in Vijayanagara Empire. The fort was entered through well guarded gates, which linked the city to the major roads. Archaeologists have studied road within the city and those leading out from it. These roads have been identified by tracing path through gateways as well as by find of pavement. Roads generally wound around through the valleys, avoiding rock terrain. Some of the most important roads extended from temples, gateways, and were lined by bazaars. So that's all for today. Hope you like this presentation. Thank you.